Good morning here at Space Launch Complex 19. My name is Rita Lynch and I'm one of the NASA principal. Now you looking at AgriX as in its way to launch the first mission of INov Lunar Lander to the moon. This mission was to provide the first ever prototype to landing in the moon surface. This was a demonstration mission. If anything goes not according to plan, we can learn and improve hardware or software in the next mission of INov Lunar Lander. We're about 5 minutes and 20 seconds before the launch of the first INov Lunar Lander to the moon. For more information about the liftoff timeline we'll provide by Aubrey Fitzgerald. With that, we'll switch to Diamond Aerospace Headquarters in Wilmington.
Thank you, Rita Lynch, for information about the payload itself. Now we're about 5 minutes before the launch. We already begin load the both propellant stage at 40 minutes before liftoff. We expect to complete the fuel loading at approximately 3 minutes before liftoff, or about 2 minutes more from now. We also begin loading liquid methane and liquid oxygen to November 1 Lunar Lander at approximately 1 hour before liftoff. And now we almost completed all fueling load. At approximately 1 minute before liftoff, the computer will take over the liftoff period. Team still continue checking data to make sure there's no issue running before the computer will take over the vehicle. If all according to plan, no scrub for today launch at T-0, the vehicle will lift it off from pad 19, Cape Canaveral. After T+8 seconds after liftoff, the vehicle will pitch over to decrease stress on the vehicle. After approximately 75 seconds after liftoff, the vehicle passing trough max Q or maximum aerodynamic pressure, the highest stress on the vehicle on the way to space. About 170 seconds or 2 minutes and 50 seconds into the flight, the first stage of the vehicle will shut down all the engine. Following of that, the vehicle will separate both stage and light up second stage engine. Default text following that the second stage fairing which protect the spacecraft hardware during ascent will jettison. We don't need it again, so remove it, which decrease weight of the vehicle. If you following us long, you might know that the vehicle will attempt a propulsive landing, but today we'll not try to landing the first stage. Instead we'll trying to recover in near future launches. Might sad, but as you already know, it's still in development progress. Anyway, after approximately 550 seconds or 9 minutes into the flight, the second stage will cut off and begin a coast phase before relight the engine once again and deploying the spacecraft. If you want to watch the deployment, check out our social media for in deployment view. We're about 3 minutes before liftoff. Teams continue checking out data here and on the Launch Control Center in Florida. We'll bring it back to Space Coast.
Thank you, Fitz. We are about 2 minutes and more before launch. The vehicle and November 1 spacecraft is looking good and now waiting for the launch. Well, not targeting to landing the spacecraft on the same day. The spacecraft will captured by the moon and arrived about 5 days from now. So it's still long time and enough time for checking data. Now let's sit back and relax watching the vehicle lifted off again from pad 19 in Cape Canaveral, Florida.
All, then any three-word hold call from here on out will be on aboard.
Waiting for the next event, the vehicle will start up or the computer guidance will take over the vehicle.
Ace, please start PSD recordings and downrange ground station recording.
T-2 minutes, the vehicle still in good condition. We might get on time liftoff today.
FAA licenses intact.
Stage LOX tank coming to liftoff pressure. Stage fuel tank coming to liftoff pressure. Startup.
AgriX computer has taken over the vehicle. T-minus 60 seconds, everything looks nominal. In just a moment, we'll hear from the launch director calling out ready for launch.
Flight director is go for flight.
Diamond Aerospace Launch Director Nick Tyson is calling out that he's ready for launch. T-minus 30 seconds, let's listen in.
T-minus 30. Copy.
15 seconds and continuing.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. We have liftoff.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
And AgriX lifted off once again at Launch Complex 19 at Cape Canaveral. Go AgriX, go INov 1. All engine light up. 14.1 million pounds of thrust lifting off the vehicle.
35, OSC, FC1, LVN.
T plus 25 seconds into the flight, while AgriX pitching over, and next up is gonna be max Q around 75 seconds into the flight. We heard booster chamber pressure is nominal. We're getting a good call out from Launch Control Center.
Acquisition signal, Corpus Christi.
Continuing to ascent, vehicle will continue pitching softly to decrease stress on the vehicle. The vehicle also pass speed of sound. Also density of the atmosphere is decreasing, will passing trough max Q in just a moment. 1 minute into the flight, we throttling down the first stage engine ahead for max Q.
Listening stress on the vehicle, we'll get a call out. The vehicle will passing trough max Q in just a moment from now.
Max Q.
We heard it loud and clear. The vehicle is passing the highest stress on the vehicle while on the way to space, proving that the vehicle can handle a high stress during ascent. 1 minute and 30 seconds into the flight, vehicle continuing its journey to space. In just a moment we'll have 3 simultaneously event coming on, which is we'll shut down all the engine on the first stage, then we'll separate it second
Acquisition signal, Houston.
stage. After that the second stage will light up its engine to get into its orbit. As I mentioned before, we're not trying to recover the first stage today, so we're not showing the first stage landing view. Those events will be coming on in just a few seconds from now.
Two minutes into the flight, AgriX power the first stage continuing to fire. They'll shut down in a few seconds or so. As Fitz already mentioned before, they'll not trying to recover the first stage today, as other word is expandable due to mission requirement. Those events will be coming on in just a few seconds from now. Let's listen in from the Launch Control Center in Florida.
Booster engine cut off.
Stage separation confirmed.
Good MVAC ignition.
Stage 1 FTS is
Those
safe.
event was occur successfully. Next up fairing jetation in just a moment from now.
If you can see, the first stage and the second stage has separated successfully, and now the second stage is begin its journey to its orbit. This second stage burn will last about 6 minutes.
Bearing separation confirmed.
Acquisition signal, Bermuda.
And now as you can see, the fairing was jettisoned successfully, exposing INov 1 Lunar Lander on board. The engine will continue firing for 6 minutes or so. For that, we'll take a break for commentary.
Vehicle is on a nominal trajectory.
We're here again at 9 minutes into the flight. Second stage still ignite its engine and will shut down in just a moment or so.
The single AXA-3 vacuum engine powered the second stage to reach its orbit still ignite perfectly. As Fitz mentioned, it will end in just a few seconds from now. After that, the second stage will enter its coast phase before they'll ignite the engine once again, or we call it translunar injection.
And there it is. The second stage shut down its engine and enter a coast phase. We'll ignite the engine once again in a few hours from now. For that, we'll bring the webcast to a close. If you want to watch the deployment, check out our social media or YouTube for live view. We'd like to thank you to our customer IcarusGroup and NASA to entrusting us with their payload.
We also give a thank you to Diamond Aerospace for a successful launch of INov mission. We'll update more about the Lunar Lander itself on IcarusGroup's social media.
We also give a shout out to Federal Aviation Administration and Range to allowing us to launch on this day. With that, thank you for all viewer for tuning in and see you soon in a week. Good night.